All right, in the meantime, as promised, we are joined by State Representative George Faught. George, welcome back to the Pat Campbell Show.
Hey, Pat. Great to have a chance to be on your show this morning.
Okay, Friday I was off, and Eddie and Elvis brought on Mark Wayne Mullen. And the story on Friday was you had some video of him claiming that he supports or is in favor of a single-payer system. Now, he came on the program, and I'm paraphrasing here. I listened to the interview. He basically said that's not true. He says George knows that's not true. George has done multiple town hall meetings with me, throughout District 2. He knows that I don't favor a single-payer system. He claims that you're taking him out of context. What say you?
Well, first of all, Pat, campaigns are about choices, and if you have no legislative experience, then all the voters have to go off are your words. And his words, and I'll quote it because we actually have a video clip up side by side at mullenfacts.com, and these are the words that he said. I understand the issues that we're facing when you talk about the health care. And then he goes on, to fix the issue, I think the single-payer pay system would be best. So, those are his words. So it's for him to answer to what he said in a public meeting. That's not taken out of context. That was actually his own words, and even his own transcript that he released said the very same thing, except he left out I understand the issues that we're facing when you talk about the health care.
All right, let me ask you a question and issue a challenge, okay? I don't have access to this video. Do you have access to the entire town hall meeting or whatever it was you were at?
Yes, of course I did.
Have you made that? Will you make that? Have you made that available on YouTube? That way I can go there, my listeners can go there, and they can go, either he did say that and he meant it, or it was taken out of context. Because right now all I've got is the snippet that you put in the commercial.
Well, like I said, you can go to mullenfacts.com, and there's the longer version of that clip where he makes this statement, and he goes on to talk about some other stuff. Every time we go to an event, we're videoing my words just so we can put it up on our website or put it up on our Facebook.
So that video is available for me at mullenfacts.com?
Mullenfacts.com. You may have to click to the second page, I believe.
Okay.
Or it may be on the front page, but it's there side by side, and then it also has the clip of me on the House floor when we were talking about the health insurance.
All right, the next thing we want to get into is you released another YouTube video. I don't know if this is a commercial, but I saw it on YouTube, and it has to do with the interview that Eddie had with Mark Wayne Mullen on Friday. And towards the tail end, Eddie asked a parting question. He said, Mark, he says, where are you on these state health exchanges? Do you favor them? Do you oppose them? And Mark answered honestly. He says, Eddie, I don't know. He says, I haven't done the research on it. And I wasn't going to give him an answer one way or the other. He says, I got to do some homework. I got to get up to speed on this particular issue. And you basically have come out and said that, look, do we really want to elect somebody to Congress who isn't up on certain issues? Now, let me throw this at you here. If he was running for the State House or the State Senate, man, you better know what a state health exchange is. But is it as important if you're running for the United States Congress?
Well, Pat, I think the main issue that we're facing right now, which will be the defining issue of this election and the years to come, is the health care and Obamacare, and what do states and the nation, what's going to happen to our health care. So I believe that is forefront, especially after the Supreme Court ruling. So we've got to have someone who has an understanding. He admitted in his press conference on Thursday that he didn't even understand what a single payer meant. And then on Friday, on your radio station, he said he hadn't had time to even research health insurance exchanges. Everything is locked up in that health care because of the nature that it's going to damage our economy. So we've got to have people that understand it.
All right, Elvis, let's pull up clip 5 here. I want to play this. This is a YouTube video that's out there, and I think it's up on, if it's not up, I will put it up on my Facebook page afterwards. Here we go.
Hey, Mark Wayne, one last question that I have, and if you've been listening, we've been discussing the whole health care exchange matter. What is your position on the health care exchanges? Should we or should we not set up a health care exchange in Oklahoma?
Eddie, it's really hard for me to answer that because I just haven't been paying attention to it like I should. I've been very focused on our race, and I haven't done. I've heard our conversations about it, but I haven't done my own research, and so I'm hesitant to talk about something I'm just not. I haven't sat down and took the time to study it.
Oklahoma could set the standard by setting up their own exchange and say, like the Heisman, no thanks to the feds. I think we should have done that. This money comes with strings attached. Senator Coburn believes that, and I know he would know more than anybody on this floor about federal government and strings attached. And since when has the Fed given any money that didn't have a string attached to it? Think about this. I would suggest that this money comes with strings attached, and they may wind up and be the noose around our necks and ultimately the future of our children. Vote this down.
Representative Faught, do you yield to questions?
Sure.
Representative Wesselhoff, you're recognized for a question.
Speaker, the $54 million, if you think that's an excessive amount of money, wouldn't it make sense with our economy melting down like the Japanese reactors to give that money back to the federal government?
I think we should throw it back in their face. Thank you.
All right, and the whole point you're trying to make in that commercial is?
The whole point is that we were defeating the $54 million from the federal government to set up an exchange where the feds tell us exactly what to do. I think for Oklahoma, at that point as a state legislator, it's up to Oklahoma to decide what we're going to do with our health care, not the federal government. And, we've seen through the recent decision with the Supreme Court that those states that refuse that are going to be in a better position to offer health care and health care solutions to their citizens. So that's the point of that. Trying to defeat the first wave of Obamacare that was coming to Oklahoma.
Where are you? There are people out there, Glenn Mulready comes to mind, Gary Stanislawski comes to mind, who want us to set up our own health care exchange, state health care exchange, now, rather than have the Obama administration do it for us down the road. Where are you on that issue? Should Mary Fallin be calling a special session of the legislature and actually putting something like this together now?
Absolutely not.
Tell me why.
I think we need to wait until the November elections to see what's going to happen. Because honestly, Obamacare needs to be repealed, repealed, defunded, clawed back. We've seen parts of Obamacare for the last at least 2 or 3 years being implemented through the Health Care Authority here in Oklahoma. I've seen that in my committee. We've worked to try to claw those things back. So we need to wait till November. There's not anything that forces Oklahoma to have to do anything until 2014.
What is our B plan? There's always that possibility that Barack Obama could get reelected again. God forbid. What is our backup plan?
Well, on the national level, obviously, would be to defund. That's the only thing you can do is starve it. Without any money, then these things can't be implemented. So I think that's the B plan if Obama wins the presidency again.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. I don't know if you saw the Tulsa World editorial Saturday, but they were talking about this trip that Governor Mary Fallin and other dignitaries are making to the UK for a big air show over there. The Obama administration's picking up the tab, and ultimately we are. But the newspaper wanted to know why is it okay for us to take Obama money to go on a fact-finding mission, job-creating mission over there, but it's not okay for us to take it for a health care exchange?
Well, I would argue that taking the federal money for stuff like that is taking it out of your pocket and my pocket. How is
So you say both are wrong?
I think they are, yeah.
Interesting. Let me ask you another question here. And I had Pat McQuiggan on from Capitol Beat OK a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about the legislative session wrapping up, and he was expressing his personal dismay over the budget that was passed, which, I think it was the largest in state history, correct me if I'm wrong there, but again, passed by both a House and a Senate and an executive branch currently occupied or controlled by Republicans. He pointed out, and correct me if I'm wrong on my facts here, but that you were actually, and I guess the question would be, is this the way a real conservative behaves? Brought up the fact that you were one of 4 legislators who flipped their votes at the last minute and actually voted in favor of the governor's state budget, which was $330 million greater than the previous state budget. Your response?
Well, the beauty of Oklahoma is, first of all, we have a constitutional amendment about a balanced budget, and we also have a time frame that the legislature's in session. The budget that came out, I wasn't real thrilled with because of the spending levels. Whenever it was voted down, there were talks of even more spending levels, spending more money with a new budget or special session. And so sometimes you make the choices. I mean, we had a budget in front of us that was balanced, and we have a time frame. We have a constitutional mandate to be able to accomplish that. So I took the budget that I knew instead of pushing on higher spending levels for citizens of Oklahoma.
One more, and I'm going to let you go. I also had Bill Shepard on election night from Sooner Poll, and just getting his assessment of what was going on in District 1. We talked a little bit about District 2. He mentioned that money is going to be the big factor over there. This Mark Wayne Mullen, I'm pretty sure, I think he spent in excess of $600,000 in just the initial primary. We're not even talking about the runoff there. And that whoever's got the most money is probably going to be the winner over there, and that you have had some problems raising funds. Is that true? What kind of money do you need to compete against this guy?
Well, I mean, I think we started off the election thinking we needed to raise $400,000 for the primary. We were able to raise $400,000. I don't believe that this seat is for sale. I don't believe that someone who has the deepest pocket makes them qualified to be the next congressman. And what we have seen, in the second district is 70% registered Democrat. I've shown that I can win in this district. I'm the only one that's ever won a House seat in the district, so I think I can show that I can win. And it's not about money. It's about who understands the issues. And obviously, Mr. Mullen has shown that he is lacking in understanding some of the most basic issues that are before us today.
Do you think that somebody, before they go to Congress, really needs to either spend time locally in government on a city council, or maybe as Senator Inhofe was a mayor, or spend time in the state legislature? Do you have to work your way up the food chain, or is this just going directly? Is that a prescription for disaster?
Well, there are some exceptional individuals who have gone directly in there, but obviously experience does give you an upper hand to be able to walk in and start work from day one. I've got that. I've got the business experience for 25 years. I've been in Muskogee in the district, so I think couple that with the legislative experience, we can hit the ground running because we honestly don't have time to waste.
Are we at a disadvantage here in District 1 with Jim Bridenstine because he has no legislative experience?
I don't believe so. I mean, I think Jim Bridenstine's a very bright young man. It's got a very promising future in front of him. I mean, and he's knowledgeable on the issues. If you stop and talk to him, he knows about the issues. It's not, I'm sorry, I don't understand that.
George, if people want to find out more about you and your campaign, where do we send them?
Well, you can go to georgefaught.com, and if you're interested in what's going on here, you can go to mullenfacts.com as well, and you can see the clip yourself. You can see that we're not taking it's his words for him to answer for, not for me to have to tell everybody what he's thinking.
George, we thank you for your time.
Thanks, Pat.
You're listening to the Pat Campbell Show here on Talk Radio 1170 KFAQ.